Number 3, this is the biggest one for me. Gonna hit you out of left field. Nobody else is talking about this and I have no idea why. How to get more Instagram followers in 2020. What I wanna share with you today are 6 hacks that I've proven myself in order to get more Instagram followers, and ultimately that will lead to more engagement as well. Some of these are gonna hit you out of left field. I've never seen them on any other video on YouTube. So let's get straight into the value and help you get more followers in 2020.
Hey, so I push and I grind and I push and I grind, cause I know one day it's gonna pay y'all.
What's up? My name is Mike Sherrard. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And if you're new, welcome to the family. Every single week I drop multiple videos helping you scale your business using creative and innovative content, social, and personal branding strategies. All that I ask in return is one of these, a little thumbs up. We're all here to support each other, and that's all I'm asking of you. So please just drop that. Also, if you're new and you haven't already, subscribe and tap that notification bell. Let's get straight into the value here. How to get more followers in Instagram in 2020. Instagram's algorithm has changed drastically over the last couple of years, very frequently as well. When I got started back in 2017, it was much easier to grow. It was more of a volume game, so it was posting every day. I posted every day for 600 days, and I ended up getting my first 10,000 followers. It was great. We can swipe up. Life is good. It's harder now. And unfortunately, not many people know how to grow properly and organically now that the algorithm has changed. So let's talk about 6 things you can do on your next Instagram post and today in order to get more followers on Instagram. The first one is not focusing on likes. This sounds absolutely crazy. Back last year in May, they removed likes from up here in Canada, so we haven't had them for a while. But let me talk about why that's so important. The content that is growing my Instagram and the content that's getting the most engagement is actually not the content that's getting the most likes. Based on my Instagram, and again, we do this with a lot of our clients, a lot of the content that's getting the most likes are photos, static images. That's great. Likes are good. It's nice to have that validation that it's a good post and all as well, but it's not what's getting them and me the most followers. What's getting me the most followers as well as our clients are the saves and the shares, because ultimately that says 2 things. When somebody is sharing your post, that's driving traffic to a new audience, whether they're sharing it with a specific individual or they're sharing it on their story. That's an incredible opportunity to get yourself in front of their audience, a new audience that might not have heard of you before. Also, when they save your photo, that's them basically saying that they want to come back to that. They want to see this again in the future. So they're saving it for a later date. That's ultimately validation for your content that there was a good post. So my most recent posts that are getting the most saves and shares are the ones that on that same day are actually getting me the most followers. Now, what types of content are getting me the most saves and shares? It's not the static images. It's the following 3 things. It's either quotes that people can share on their story, it's infographics that people can share on their story or somebody else, or it's actually my video content. Video is king. Every social media platform's algorithm loves video, but if you look at a lot of my videos, they're providing a lot of value to people. They're very engaging. They have a lot of graphic, image, and dynamic overlay. So a lot of people are starting to share those. Those are what's getting me the most followers in 2020 and what you can start to do in order to get the same result. Number 2, optimize your profile so that people can find you and will know who you are. I'm constantly revising my bio depending on what I'm doing at the time, but ultimately here's what you want to do. You want to make sure that when people are typing in the search bar, that whenever they're searching for something related to your industry, that you come up, and also when they do come across your profile, whether it be from a search or a post, ultimately they're going to know exactly what you do and why they should follow you. That's why if you look at my profile or if you look at a lot of top entrepreneurs' profiles, they have some sort of one-line mission at the start so that people can look at their profile and know exactly what they do, who they help, the value they provide, what they are all about. And then you can start to include some other information about other things that you do so that people know what else you're about and what they can expect from your content going forward. Making it searchable is using keywords and organic SEO from Instagram itself, but ultimately that's going to help you be found, and then when people see what you're about, they're going to follow you. Number 3, this is the biggest one for me. Gonna hit you out of left field. Nobody else is talking about this and I have no idea why. Getting featured on podcasts. When I got featured on the GSD Mode podcast with Joshua Smith, I gained almost 2,000 followers over a course of 48 hours. Ultimately, when you get featured on podcasts, what that does is it opens their audience up to you. It introduces you to the podcast host audience. So if you get on a podcast podcast that's quite popular or has a strong foundation and a good audience base, that might be their first introduction to you. And ultimately, when you get on that podcast, drop some bombs, that's going to excite people to come over, check out your profile, and follow you to see what you've got coming up next. So getting featured on podcasts, as well as just doing collaborations with people in general, is a great way to tap into other people's audiences and become familiar with you so that they can come follow you in the end. Number 4, another one that's going to come out of nowhere, getting other people to share your stories. I use stories in a very strategic way. The majority of my business has come from stories. That's not the case with most people, but that's because I've taken a different approach. Ultimately, I do get quite a bit of followers when people share my stories with their audience. How does that come about? 2 different ways. 1, tagging them, of course, but make sure you do this strategically because you don't want to just flood people with notifications and annoy them. Tag them if it makes sense, but also if you start to give credit to other people and tag them, that's going to be when they start to share because it's validation for them. I've had Andy Verzella, Ed Milet, Gerard Adams all share my Instagram stories, and that's because ultimately I wasn't asking for anything. I either took a screenshot when I was on a coaching call with them and tagged them in it, or I took one of their podcast episodes that really helped me, tagged them in it, and I just made sure to give them credit for something. Everybody wants social proof. By them sharing my story, it was giving them value. It was giving them social proof to their audience about what they do and who they impact. So it's a win-win situation. They share my story, they got credit, I got new attention. Number 5, be consistent. Here's where a lot of people struggle. Consistency from 2 different angles, not just based on frequency, but also in terms of what they are talking about. You need to make sure that you are posting consistently. You don't have to post multiple times a day, but do make sure you post at least 3 times a week. If people see one of your photos and decide to like it and follow you, and then you don't post again for 2 weeks or a month, they have no reason to stay following you, so they're gonna unfollow you. You want to make sure that once you've grabbed their attention, that they continue to see stuff come from you that's going to provide value to them. Now, also consistency in terms of what you're talking about. You want to make sure that if someone comes across one of your posts and they like it, let's say it's about hair products, and the next post you talk about is about food, and the next post is about cars, and the next is about business. There's no consistency there, so people are going to wonder when the next post is going to come, that they're actually going to get value from them, and the reason that they followed you in the first place. So if you start to consistently put out value to people, you're going to see that a lot more people are going to share your content, a lot are going to tag their friends, and ultimately you're just going to simply attract more people because they see a consistent string of value every time they come to your profile. And number 6, focus on quality, not quantity. 2 different angles here. Quality of the creative, quality of the copy, quality of the creative. All you need is use this. All you need is your iPhone. It doesn't have to be complicated, but you do need to make sure that the quality of the image is good. Also, the quality of the copy. You need to make sure, again, that you're providing value to people. When people read your post, they need to get something from it. It shouldn't be selfish. It shouldn't be about you. It should be about them. Your audience wants to know what they can get from you, what they can benefit from when they follow you. Now, I like to do the quality test where every single time I go to post something on Instagram, I take off my Mike Sherrard hat and I say, if I didn't know me and I came across this post that I'm about to post for the first time as a cold audience, would I like it? Would I comment on it? Would I follow this guy? Oftentimes you're going to see that you wouldn't like your own photo, you wouldn't comment on your photo, you wouldn't follow yourself. So make sure that you start doing that quality test every single time you're going to post something on Instagram, because then if you would follow yourself, it's more than likely that other people would as well. If you have any other questions about how to get more followers on Instagram or get more engagement on Instagram, drop a comment below. I love when you guys ask me questions because I do respond to 100% of them, and I want to see you win in 2020. Thank you so much. As always, please give it a thumbs up. Also, check out the next video so that you can learn even more about how to dominate on Instagram, and we will see you next time.